Welcome to Pale Blue Pod, the astronomy podcast for people who are overwhelmed by the universe, but still want to be its friend.
Yeah, like me. I'm Corinne Caputo. I'm a writer, and I want to be the universe's friend.
Corinne, you are the universe's friend.
I am. I forget.
Yeah, that's so cute. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Moiya McTier. I'm an astrophysicist, a folklorist, and I'm also one of the universe's friends. And I hope that if you've been listening to the show for a while, or even if you've just joined us, that you realize you're also a friend to the universe, just by listening to the pod.
I think you are for sure, and everyone listening is. I don't think it takes as much as we think to be a good friend.
Agreed.
Especially to the universe.
Yeah, the universe is a pretty low-maintenance friend. It just wants you to look up and appreciate every once in a while.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's not asking too much. But we are actually doing this episode. We're recording this episode on the road. We're on a little drive.
Mm-hmm.
Corinne is driving. Because I do not have a driver's license.
Yeah, Moiya will be shocked to know I really haven't driven since I was 17 years old. So good thing we're on a back road.
Exactly. Yeah, we are on a back country road. We are winding very easily, and there's no real danger back here. But it's very relaxing. I used to do drives like this when I was growing up in the country, and they always make me feel really calm.
I feel this way on buses when I take a bus. Pretty much any time. I'm like, this is very intimate and relaxing, and I'm like, I know I'm going to tear up at some point on the ride just looking out the window.
Like a Greyhound or like a city bus?
A Greyhound. City buses, not as much. Although on Staten Island, the buses you take to get to school are city buses. They're not like yellow buses. Mm. And sometimes you'd be the only person on it going to like home from high school, and then I would still tear up because It was like I got to, not because I was alone, but you like kind of get the privacy of like just yourself and your thoughts. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it could happen on a city bus.
That's adorable. I see the yellow school buses in New York City, but I do always wonder, like, how many kids are using those versus just using the regular?
They have, like, middle school and under will use yellow bus.
Okay.
High school, city.
Interesting.
And you get a Metro card.
Ooh.
Or you did when I went to school. I don't know what it's like now.
Well, I hope that's still the case. The whole rural versus urban, like, school experience seems wildly different to me.
It's always funny to me when I hear about people's schools where like many towns join together to like form one school, and I'm just like, oh, my school was 4,000 kids and it was one of like 12 on the island. The quote unquote island. It barely feels like an island.
You're right. I graduated in a class of 50 people.
Oh my god. That's so crazy to imagine.
Yeah. Your graduation must have taken forever.
We did not. I don't think we walked across the stage.
Aww.
Maybe we did. It was fast. It wasn't like what you see in movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it happened at the minor league baseball field.
That's cool.
That's where they could fit all of us.
Wow. See, these long drives on a backcountry road, they just make you nostalgic. They make you want to relive your fond memories, like high school graduation.
High school.
But if you are listening to this episode on the day that it comes out, Happy April Fools, everyone.
Happy April Fools. Everything we said was a joke.
You're right. I actually grew up in New York City. I could not pretend if I wanted to. No, that wasn't a joke. And this episode isn't really a joke, although you might think that if you looked at the title, because we're having a little fun today. We're going to look at some horoscopes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Corinne and I are going to play a little game with horoscopes. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the origin and evolution of astrology. Like, why do we have this? Where does it come from? And is your sign even the right one? Gasp.
I'm curious to know about that.
Corinne, I was hoping so much that you would gasp, and then you did. So thank you.
Like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? It's changed. So yeah, I'm excited to play this game that you have prepared.
Okay. So I pulled 2 horoscopes. We're going to guess which one is yours, Moiya. And then I'll read 2 more, and we'll guess which of those 2 is mine. Mm-hmm. And then I pulled 2 more, and we'll guess which of those 2 is Pale Blue Pod's horoscope.
Ooh, okay. So we, for Pale Blue Pod, what birthday are we using?
We are using November 7th, which is the day our trailer dropped on people's feeds. Not the day we started talking about it, but
Oh, there's
the
a
day was
gestation
birthed.
period.
Yeah, exactly. We're going by birthday. So, Moiya, you're a Capricorn, if that's correct.
That is correct, according to the traditional system.
According to the traditional system, exactly. And Capricorns are known for, Google tells me this, being disciplined, hardworking, and responsible.
Does that seem right?
It does seem right, but it also is like, I think you also seem like the things that my horoscope's known for, so it's hard to say.
Yeah. I will say that when people ask me, I'm like, I don't believe in astrology, but I am a Capricorn, and I am very much a Capricorn.
There are some signs that I know I'm not, like that will be described, and I'm like, that's definitely not something within me. But there's a lot of them that I do that I can relate to, so.
Well, those are probably your rising and planet signs, Corinne.
Yeah, it actually is my rising, so.
There you go.
And I will say that I'm also not someone who believes in horoscopes, but I do have, days all the time where I'm like, I think I just have this desire to relinquish control, or just to feel like something bigger is happening and I don't need to be on top of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's when I'll turn to a horoscope, just to be like, I could really use some extra, I don't know, wealth or wisdom this week. Let's see if it's in my horoscope.
Yeah, just an extra little nudge.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
A little bit of a hand-holding through the scary life. Okay, so I'm going to read two, and let's guess which one is Moiya's. The first one. This is from, I think I pulled these all from Vogue's horoscope or the cuts this week, so we'll see. You may feel optimistic about the future goals you're working towards. With the lunar eclipse in Libra, you may be developing a creative project, or you could be discovering hobbies that bring you joy. You may also be finding greater self-confidence when dating in social situations.
That's so vague.
I know, and it's always like, you might be doing this, or you might be doing this.
Okay.
And it's not giving you an action either. It's just this might be happening to you right now.
Right. I think I was expecting some advice, proceed carefully in this area of life or something.
And maybe other astrologers write like that, but whoever authored this didn't. Okay, so that's one of them.
Okay.
Are you feeling drawn to it at all?
Well, I did notice that they talked about work projects. And hobbies that you enjoy. And I feel like there's this perception of Capricorns that we need to chill the fuck out. So maybe a push to enjoy more hobbies is something they would give a Capricorn, but not others. So maybe.
We'll see. Okay, the second horoscope that could be yours is, you will be tending to home-related matters this week as the sun moves into Aries. You might be visiting your family, or you're preparing to move or redecorate. You may also be thinking about the past more than usual, and you could be doing healing work surrounding family relationships or childhood memories. Ooh. With the lunar eclipse in Libra, you may experience changes at work. You could be leaving one job for another, or you may realize what career path you want to commit to moving forward. You could also receive praise and attention at your job.
Oh, I wish! Please. That would be nice. But I'm my boss, so I have to praise myself.
You might get a compliment this week.
Good job, self. Sometimes I do. When I'm doing something really hard, I'm like, good girl, Moiya.
Yeah, I did it.
Because you have to. This is interesting because I did just have a visit with a family member. So if horoscopes were true, then that would be peering into my actual personal life. But I will say I felt more drawn to the first one. So I'm going to say the first one was the Capricorn horoscope.
The second one was the Capricorn. So it did get it right about, what did it say? You may be thinking about the past more than usual.
Yeah.
You could be with some family relationships. So maybe it got you right this week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let's just see. Report back if you get praise and attention at your job.
Well, report back if I give myself. And, sometimes if I do a talk or if I teach a class, I get feedback from students.
Maybe we'll get a good review this week, and that's what it is.
Hint, hint. That would be nice. Okay, so the other one, can I I don't even know if I could guess what the other one was.
It's hard to guess who that could be because you'd need, like, to be fluent in all the signs.
Yeah, and it literally sounds like advice everyone could use. Or it wasn't even advice. It was just, this might happen to you. So I don't even know. What was it?
It was Gemini.
I would not have guessed that.
They're thought of as being, like, social butterflies, super sharp, curious, playful. And maybe it did feel that way. Maybe it didn't. It seemed it was kind of a creative-oriented one, so I can see that fit.
Yeah, I do not have Gemini in my big 3. I know that, but I don't know anything about my planets.
What are your big 3?
Capricorn, Aries, Moon, and then Taurus rising.
My husband is a Taurus rising.
I remember it because it spells cat.
Oh, that's a good way to remember it.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm a Leo by birth or by tradition.
Yes. By birth.
By birth. Well, okay, so Leos are confident, creative, loyal. I think they have a bad rap as, like, attention seekers. Or just, like, you know, number one, trying to be number ones. But let's see.
Those all sound like very nice things and things that I associate with you. Not the attention seeking, but, you know, you are a performer. And, like, that's a writer, true. You know?
And it does feel very Leo of me to perform. Actually, everyone who's ever done improv is a Leo.
That's a fact.
Okay. You will be ready to try out new experiences this week as the sun moves into Aries. You might be thinking of the bigger picture in life, and you could be traveling or feeling more connected to your sense of spirituality. You may also be learning about new subjects, and you will want to share your knowledge with people. With the lunar eclipse in Libra, you may be busy meeting up with friends or attending events in your city. You might be wrapping up communication work too, like a presentation, piece of writing, or your own website.
Ooh. Okay.
This one makes me laugh because of how vague it is and how it can apply to anyone. You might be doing a presentation, writing something, or making a website.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like on any given week, a person is probably doing something like that, like writing down something.
Yeah. Well, you do work in communications.
It's true.
So,
it's true. That piece does apply to me.
It does apply. Maybe it got it right again.
The learning something new and wanting to share that with people feels very normal to learn something and want to tell.
Some people want to hoard their info.
That's true. That's true. Gatekeepers, we might call them.
Or don't feel the urge to, not because they want to hoard it, but they just, you know, aren't social in that way of, like, talking to other people about what they've learned.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not currently learning anything new that I know of, but I appreciate the optimism, like I might.
Okay.
But we can hold on to this one.
Yeah, it seems like you're not feeling particularly drawn to it, though.
Well, I could be traveling or feeling connected to my spirituality. I'm in this car.
It's true.
That's going on. But let's read the other one. Okay. You will be on the go this week as the sun moves into Aries, another traveler. You may be developing communication-based work like a website, newsletter, or podcast.
Corinne, no!
With the lunar eclipse in Libra, you will be considering your core life beliefs, and you may feel connected to your spirituality. You might want to explore subjects like astrology or manifestation, and you may be making concrete progress in writing or public speaking endeavors. So to me, this one is just like an AI chatbot rewrote the first one.
Yes. Honestly, same. They are the same picture.
They are nearly the same.
Well, I'm gonna go with the podcast one.
I did throw it in there to throw you off, and I was successful because that one is actually for Aquarius. The first one is for me, a Leo.
Okay.
And I did look it up, and Galileo was born February 15th, which makes him an Aquarius.
Yes. And
so me and Galileo's horoscopes are quite similar.
Yeah. And he died on January 8th, which is my birthday.
Whoa.
I know.
And he was reborn as Moiya McTier.
I am an old, half-deaf, mostly blind Italian man. That's how I can identify today.
Yeah, so that one was tough for me. I don't really connect with either one, and they are nearly the same.
Yeah, they were basically identical. I would like some more variation.
Same.
Please,
Same.
horoscope writers. Yeah.
And I do want more, I want someone to be telling me what to do. If I'm seeking out my horoscope, it's because I'm seeking instruction on life. So I do want someone to be like, this week you should only do X, Y, Z.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So listeners, if you follow any horoscope writers who give advice and it usually works out for you, let us know.
And I am, fair warning, I am a person who will only take advice if I want it. Like if I like what it's telling me to do, which is good for something that is completely unfounded in anything.
Yes.
Okay, now it's time for Pale Blue Pod's horoscope. Pale Blue Pod, trailer dropped November 7th, making Pale Blue Pod A, do you know?
Sagittarius.
You got the S right. It's a Scorpio.
Okay.
Scorpios are, I feel like, one of the more hated signs.
I also feel like I've heard that. Like, no one wants to date a Scorpio?
Right.
Okay.
They're supposedly, like, very intense, very passionate, but they're loyal and they're perceptive, but they're I think they're just really intense.
Okay.
Supposedly.
I will
My
keep that
husband's
in
a
mind.
Scorpio, and I've never found that to be true. So, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to read 2. You will be motivated at work this week as the sun moves into Aries. You might be developing projects of your own, or you could be preparing to launch your own business. You may be taking on freelance work too, or looking for other ways to boost your income. However, you may be spending quite a bit of money and splurging on yourself. With the lunar eclipse in Libra, you'll be focused on self-improvement. You may be working to overcome any relationship conflict, and you could better understand why you have certain reactions and behaviors.
Huh. Well, we are trying to expand and grow the show, you know, like we want merch soon.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. We're working on this live show that we're doing on the weekend of the eclipse. So there's some stuff in there that I could see applying.
Yeah. I do see that too. Okay, let's look at the other one.
I'm ready for the other one.
You will be sticking to a routine this week as the sun moves into Aries. You might be making an effort to take care of your body through regular exercise and eating well. You may also feel more organized at work, or you're being met with new job opportunities. With the lunar eclipse in Libra, you will also need to carve out time to rest and be by yourself. You could also take a greater interest in spiritual activities like meditation, journaling, or even astrology. You may want to better understand your own emotions and release any limiting mindsets.
I love how many of these are like, hey, person who's clearly already interested in astrology, maybe you should check out astrology.
Maybe you found your way here, and it's because this week you were supposed to look up astrology.
Maybe this is just recency bias, but it does seem like that one had more language around like calming yourself and soothing yourself, which might be more useful for someone who is intense.
Yeah, I see that.
Am I wrong again?
You're right.
Yay, I got one.
That second one is a Scorpio. The first one is a Pisces, a water sign. I think Pisces is in my chart somewhere. Highly creative and imaginative.
Okay.
I think I imagine a lot of things. It's kind of where my anxiety thrives.
Hi, it's Moiya. Corinne is finding an outlet to charge the car, so I figured now would be a great time to say a huge thank you to our patrons. You know, the people who support our show every single month. So thank you, as always, to our sun-like stars, Sharn Llewellyn, Lissa, Scott Reynolds, Ian O'Leary, Augustin, and Tom T. You are all incredible and golden and perfectly gravitationally balanced. So thank you. Also, thank you to our latest pre-main sequence star, Bailey. You have joined an amazing crowd of people. And to our listeners out there who haven't joined, that's fine. There are ways to support us. There are ways to hear your name on the show. You can make it to our patron star chart all by supporting us on Patreon for just about $1 per episode. And if you sign up for an annual membership, you pay for a whole year up front, but you end up getting a 13% discount across the entire year. That's 1% for every constellation in the zodiac, which we're going to be hearing hearing about after this little break of ours. You can find the star chart, our Patreon info, and more at our website, palebluepod.com, or you can go right to patreon.com/palebluepod if you know you want to support us financially. And if you can't do that right now, that's totally fine. You are still space, we love you, and so does the universe. There are other ways to help our show grow. You can support us by rating and reviewing the show on whatever podcast app you use, and you can share the show with your friends. Like, take an actual link and send it to someone who you think would really enjoy it. We would appreciate that, and we appreciate you, so thank you. Before we get back to the episode, I have a recommendation for you, another show on the Multitude Collective, and it is Join the Party. This is an actual play podcast with tangible worlds, genre-pushing storytelling, and collaborators who make each other laugh each week. And I'm severely behind, but when I was listening to Join the Party regularly, they also made me laugh each week. The DM is Eric Silver, and he is joined by emphatic players Amanda, Brandon, and Julia, and they welcome everyone to the table, from longtime TTRPG players to folks who have never touched a role-playing game before in their lives. You can hop into their current campaign, which is a pirate story set in a world of plant and bug folk, which Eric built. I love some world building, some homebrew tabletop gaming there. You can also marathon their completed stories. They have a campaign. It's a pun. It's a Monster of the Week game set in a weird summer camp. It's adorbs. Their second campaign was a modern superhero game, and their first campaign is for people who are fans of a classic high fantasy story. Once a month, they release the After Party, where they answer your questions about the show and how they play the game, which is why they can say that they want everyone to be able to join the party. So what are you waiting for? Pull up a chair and join the party. Search for Join the Party in your favorite podcast app or go to jointhepartypod.com. That link is obviously in the episode's description. Okay, let's get back to this fun April Fool's episode. Do you hold any strong opinions about any of the signs?
No, not really. I just use them when they're convenient for me, and I ditch them when they're not. And I do, like, when I get an Instagram post that's, like, some horoscope thing of, like, Leos be like, whatever, or something like that. I always scroll to read my sign and see if it's true.
Yeah, same. Every single time. I don't think I could date another Capricorn, not because I believe it says anything about who they are as a person, but because I really like my birthday, and I don't want to have to share it.
You don't want to share your birthday?
Yeah.
Well, as a Leo who shares a birthday with her twin brother, and my younger sister's born the day after us, like years later.
That's rough.
It's not frustrating to share your birthday, but it's like, oh, I have no idea what it's like to have your own birthday. And on my wedding, I did turn to my husband and say, is this what it's like to have your own birthday? And he said, not at all.
But yeah, I can see how you would make the comparison.
Well, I was just like, it's a party and it's all about me. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like surrounded by friends I love.
That does sound nice.
And he was like, nope.
I mean that. There's cake.
Exactly.
There's presents.
There's so much.
It's kind of like having your own birthday. You know what? You're right. I disagree with Eli.
He was wrong.
He was wrong. Well, I think maybe it doesn't even matter if we have strong opinions about specific horoscope signs, because people might not even be the signs that they think they are.
This is crazy. This is blowing my mind. I gotta know what sign I actually am so I can quickly gain control again by reading the right horoscope.
Right. Maybe it's just that you've been reading the wrong horoscope, because the signs, if you are staying true to their astronomical roots of astrology, then the signs change over time. So Earth is, it's rotating on its axis. We've talked about this. It has that 23-degree tilt, but that axis is wobbling. We call this precession. And as Earth precesses, that axis starts pointing to different things. So the sky starts to look different from our point of view. The North Star changes. It does this in like a 26,000-year cycle. And the apparent path of the sun changes. So it looks like the sun takes a different path in the sky, or like it passes in front of different constellations. And because we assign the zodiacs based on what sign or what constellation the sun was in front of when you were born, if the sun is in front of a different thing, then your sign is a different thing. And so every few years, this story pops up about NASA inventing or discovering a new zodiac sign called Ophiuchus. And
yes, I've seen this headline before, and I'm like, why isn't this bigger news if this is true?
Yeah. I think the last time it came up was in like 2020. It came up in 2016. I saw Neil Tyson on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and he was talking about this and explaining that it has shifted. So this pops up every few years, and then NASA always has to be like, no, we didn't invent or discover anything new. Like, the sky is still the same. This is a pattern that has been happening for a really long time, and we've known about it for a really long time. Ancient people knew that the precession of the Earth happened because they knew that the North Star would change over time, and they understood these patterns. And in the 1970s, there was I don't know if he was an astronomer or an astrologer. Like, if he was an astronomer, he was trying to make astrology more in line with actual astrophysics. His name was Stephen Schmidt. He suggested a zodiac system with 14 signs. So the 12 classic ones plus Ophiuchus and Cetus. So Ophiuchus is the serpent bearer, and Cetus is the swan. And that was meant to reflect the accurate motion of the sun in front of all of these different constellations. 25 years later, in 1995, there was a 13-sign system proposed by an astrologer named Walter Berg and I think maybe a Japanese astrologer, also Mark Yazaki. And so people have proposed these different zodiac systems, these different astrological systems, to try and make it match what the sun is actually doing. And so modern astrologers have to decide, are they going to go with the motion of the sun and assume what the ancient Mesopotamian astrologers did, that like the behavior of stuff in the sky is the importance and that's the message? Are modern astrologers going to reinterpret the motions of the sky and use accurate, quote-unquote, accurate signs? Or are they going to say that whatever influence the stars have over us was kind of locked in the sky 3,000 years ago when the Mesopotamians started this astrology system? So I think there are debates going on in the astrology world about what the right thing to do is, but most people, at least in the West, who are like casually interested in astrology are just going to use the classic 12 signs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think?
I think that I want the one that's as close to science as possible, but I also don't think, even if it was closer to science, I would be devout or like subscribe to the ideology. So
right,
it's kind of all the same.
Right. And if you are someone who just uses it as a little inspirational nudge, then it doesn't really matter which one you're paying attention to, right? I don't know what can we look up what ours would be real fast?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Ours under, so it seems to have shifted backwards. So I'm a Capricorn born in early January. I am now a Sagittarius.
Okay, I'm currently a Leo, but would be a Cancer.
Yeah, most people have been shifted back one sign. So you, listener, you can choose whatever you want, because it is a made-up system. And people all over the world have made up this system in their own way, which I think is really interesting and reflects the fact that basically every culture throughout time has had a very close relationship with the sky. But I do want to talk about the origins of at least Western astrology. I'm going to be talking about astrology, meaning people paying attention to celestial motion for the express purpose of interpreting messages from deities or an omniscient universe. So like to interpret fate or like the will of whatever. It has to be those two things together. You have to be paying attention to the sky and using it to figure out what your gods want from you. Because if you're just paying attention to the sky, that's astronomy. And if you are interpreting the messages of the gods in other forms, then that's like priesthood or something. I don't know. As far as we can tell, when we trace it back, Western astrology started in Mesopotamia about 3,000 years ago. We think that the Mesopotamians, and specifically the Babylonians, who were kind of the last wave of the Mesopotamians, we think that they were some of the first people to formally observe the sky and assign divine meaning to its motion. They believed, and that belief kind of got carried on in a lot of other polytheistic religions, but they believed that their gods lived in the sky. Sometimes they said that the wandering stars, i.e. the planets and the moon and the sun, were palaces for some of their most important gods, or maybe they were vehicles, like transport vehicles, that the gods would use to get from one part of the sky to another.
That's fun. I'm on board with.
I think is so fun. I love thinking of the moon, sun, and planets as just like different models of cars, essentially.
Yeah.
Or like
they're just cruising around.
Just cruising around in the sky. And so because the gods lived in the sky, and because events in the sky corresponded to real events here on Earth, like the changing of the seasons or periodic migration of animals or regular floods, etc., etc. Because of those two things together, it seemed pretty obvious that the sky was the message board of the gods. Like, the gods are running the whole show, and the sky is where we can look to either interpret their next move or their motivation for doing what they're doing now, like whatever. Mm-hmm. They even made particular, like, specific associations between particular wandering stars, like particular planets, and different aspects of life. The god that a planet was associated with would determine their astrological influence. So they have the planet that we call Mercury, but they believed that their god Nabu lived in Mercury, and so they would call it Nabu, or they would call it like the Palace of Nabu, which had its own name. And because Nabu was the god of scribes and a god of wisdom and knowledge, that's the type of thing that Mercury was associated with. And then when the Babylonian system of astrology was adopted by the Egyptians and then the Greeks, it got turned into those cultures' deities. But the Babylonians didn't have the constellations that we do. They didn't have the International Astronomical Union dividing the sky into 88 discrete bordered regions. Like, it was much more loosey-goosey back then. They were very interested in the number 12. The Babylonians had designed a calendar with 12 equal months and then an intercalary period at the end where it was just like free time. And so they split the sun's path, which we call the ecliptic. They split the ecliptic into 12 equally spaced zodiac signs. And they didn't have to care about the official constellations that we do. So the idea of the sun passing through 13 versus 14 versus 12 constellations, like, it didn't matter to them. They split it up into equal parts, even though the sun doesn't spend equal amounts of time in all of those constellations. So as astronomy developed and as astrophysics developed and things got more formalized, we kept the astrology system. It had morphed over time. We kept the astrology system, but we like lost the original meaning of it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Mesopotamians and then everyone else who adopted the system, they were using the stars to do really practical things, noticing patterns to figure out when they should plant crops, how they can navigate. But eventually the stars were also consulted to determine more things in a person's individual life or in a society's calendar. So it wasn't just when to plant and harvest your crops. It was also when can you crown a new king, or when can you found a new city or embark on a voyage or start a war or even end a war. Like, peace talks had to be done under specific astrological combinations. And it just got more and more involved in our daily lives over time.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. That feels more and more like some kind of dystopia.
Yeah, and there are some parts of the world where astrology is used in kind of seedy ways. The Greeks took the zodiac system from the Babylonians, and then they formalized it with dates, which evolved over time as the Romans invented and shifted new calendar systems around. So they had, the Greeks kind of produced the astrology, something most similar to what we still have today. But there are other astrology systems around the world. There's the Chinese zodiac system. That's interesting because it's not based on the motion of the sun, because Chinese culture follows a lunisolar calendar. So they're going to be interested in more than just the sun's motion. Instead, their zodiac is based on the orbit of Jupiter, which orbits the sun every 12 years. So it's not 12 different signs, one for each month in a year. It's 12 different signs, one for each year in a 12-month cycle. And they're all based on animals instead of being based on Western constellations. And there's a very fun episode of the Spirits podcast all about the Chinese zodiac. So I'm going to link to it in our research notes for this episode.
Yay.
Mm-hmm. Maori astrology from Aotearoa, which is what the Maori people call New Zealand. it seems pretty practical. It seems a lot like noticing patterns for timing, noticing patterns for navigation. So many of the Polynesian cultures more generally would split their people who were interested in the sky into two broad groups. There would be the sky watchers who were doing timekeeping, and they were predicting events like eclipses or when a comet would come back. And then there were the wayfinders who were using the star's motion for navigation. The Maori specifically, they developed a class of sky observers or sky students called Tahunga Kokorangi, and those special people who trained to know all about the sky, they knew all of the sky lore, they knew how to predict and respond to events with appropriate rituals, and some people even said that some of them had powers to control the sky in some ways, like they could make a halo appear around the sun at will. Which is pretty interesting. There's a strong culture of using astrology in India even today that goes back pretty far. It seems that the Greeks spread their type of astrology to India around the 1st century in the Common Era. It combined with existing Hindu beliefs and eventually grew to have influence over business, politics, marriage. So people will consult really in-depth astrological charts before they make a business deal or before they accept a proposal.
Oh, yeah. I looked into Eli's background pretty heavily before we got married.
Yeah, you really needed his whole birth chart.
I was like, the Scorpio thing's a red flag, so I'm going to need to see more.
I don't think I've ever dated a Scorpio. I don't know why. I tend to cluster around Arieses and Tauruses.
I think I've almost exclusively dated Scorpios.
Fascinating.
I don't know. I love the fall, so maybe I just love a fall birthday.
Maybe. I think I've had a Virgo or two. I don't know. The Vedic zodiac system in India, it's also sometimes called Jyotish, and it's seems to be more connected to the positions of stars in their constellations, irrespective of the sun. Like, it's not as interested in the sun's position relative to the stars as it is to the constellations that are currently in the sky. And there are other astrology systems around the world, but it is this Western one that originated with the Mesopotamians that is most popular. And now something like 70 million Americans read their horoscope every day.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's more than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those people are religious? I'm curious. Because I do have a theory that it's just people who need, I don't know, you just want to feel like you're not in full control of things. Mm-hmm. Or like maybe there's another reason to blame, or maybe something good is going to happen to you and here's a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
I get it.
Look, I studied folklore. I understand why people develop religion and these beliefs. Like, it's tempting. I get it.
Yeah. I don't want someone to claim they know me because of my lineup of stars, but I'm happy to gossip about it.
Yeah.
Or always check in on my horoscope.
I do like it as a shorthand. Since I do feel like Capricorn fits as a description of me, I do like it as a shorthand. But if I didn't identify with it, I would be very angry.
That's a good point. I haven't thought of it as a shorthand, but that is kind of what I use it for. It's kind of like, what are your favorite things about yourself? Mm-hmm. And like I own being a Leo. I'm creative and loyal and loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had about astrology. Before we end this episode, I want to remind people about what's happening next week.
Yay! What is happening next week? Tell them.
So if you're listening to this episode on the day it comes out or the week it comes out, again, happy April Fools. But also next Monday on April 8th of 2024, there's going to be a total solar eclipse in the Americas. It's going to come up through Mexico, enter the U.S. in Texas, and then go northeast. It's going to end in Maine. It might touch some parts of Canada. Something like 30 million people live in this path of totality. It's going right over Austin and Dallas. So a lot of people are going to see it. It's very exciting. I hope you all have plans. If you live in the U.S., you should be able to see a partial eclipse. Mm-hmm. Or if you live in most places in the U.S., you should be able to see a partial eclipse. So get your eclipse glasses. Make sure they're safe. Make sure they have the ISO logo on them. That's the international something for standards optimization. So they make sure that the glasses are safe. So get your safe eclipse glasses, or get yourself a colander or anything with little holes so you can
that's
see
what
the
I did
shadows.
last eclipse.
Yes, do that and have fun with it. Eclipses, they aren't as rare as people think they are, but that's because they happen all over the Earth. The next eclipse isn't going to hit the U.S. until 2044.
Whoa, that's far from now.
Yeah, so enjoy it. And if you are not in the U.S., because I know we have international listeners, which makes me very happy. If you're not in the U.S., then your time for a total solar eclipse will come very soon, especially in Greenland. Greenland's going to get very, very lucky with eclipses in the next few decades.
I don't know why I have the urge to say congratulations to Greenland.
Corinne and I are going to be doing a live recording a couple days before the eclipse separately. I'm going to be in Erie, Pennsylvania. Corinne, where will you be?
I'm going to be in Greenville, Maine. I'm going to drive up there, see the eclipse.
Yay!
Record my reaction.
Yay! And Corinne and I are going to try and replicate some cool experiments where we time how long the eclipse lasts in our locations. And we're going to be experiencing the eclipse and trying to do cool science with it. And we hope you get to do the same thing.
I really hope so.
Yes. No matter your sign. No matter
Scorpio or not.
Exactly. Scorpio or not. No matter your eclipse plans, remember, everyone, you are space.
It's true. Bye.
Bye. Pale Blue Pod was created by Moiya McTier and Corinne Caputo with help from the Multitude Productions team. Our theme music is by Evan Johnston, and our cover art is by Shay McMullen. Our audio editing is handled by the incomparable Misha Stanton.
Stay in touch with us and the universe by following @PaleBluePod on Twitter and Instagram, or check out our website, palebluepod.com. We're a member of Multitude, an independent podcast collective and production studio. If you like Pale Blue Pod, you will love the other shows that live on our website at multitude.productions.
If you want to support Pale Blue Pod financially, join our community over at patreon.com/palebluepod. For just about $1 per episode, you get a shout out on one of our shows and access to director's commentary for each episode. The very best way, though, to help Pale Blue Pod grow is to share it with your friends. So send this episode, this link, to one person who you think will like it, and we will appreciate you for forever.
Thanks for listening to Pale Blue Pod. You'll hear us again next week.
Bye.